Oh.
Should I be?
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
That would be
I'll
smart,
tense up.
actually.
They're nice.
They're very
Always have a good
nice,
time over
but
there.
Smart.
and very smart. I think you should be nervous.
Okay.
All right. We have some must-read op-eds. Did you want to do the Wall Street Journal? Or?
Whatever you want to do.
All right.
You go.
All right. And we're not going to do the poll that has Donald Trump in it right now?
Donald Trump,
we'll
very
save
close
it for
to
later.
Barack Obama. We'll save that one for later.
Okay. There's the bottom line
Trump
right
and
there.
Obama, basically statistical dead heat if he were to run for president.
Really?
The Abraham Lincoln of our time, pulling within the margin of error.
Now, just let the
He has
story speak
ties.
for itself.
And he's got great ties. Let me ask you, Willie Geist, what position would you like in
All
the
right.
Trump administration?
I'd go press secretary. It'd be an easy record to defend.
Of course it'd be.
Everything he does is classy. That's the line.
Everything's
That's when we come
classy.
out of the White House every morning.
I mean, you look at the pictures, even of some of the contestants that go a little wild, they're classy photos if you look at
Exactly.
them.
They're actually quite lovely in many cases.
Quite lovely.
All right.
Yes, we can.
F.
Yes,
All right.
we can.
Well, that's interesting. We'll talk more about that later and see what the basis of that poll is.
The Trump monument. You know, I bet they'll put it up 10 years after his
Maybe
second
they'll put it
term's
up in
over.
Indonesia.
You know, he put a massive American flag on the Potomac River
Darn
at his
right he
new
did.
club.
Of course
A
he
massive
did.
one.
Of course he did.
loves America.
He loves America, and you know,
He wraps himself in that flag.
Uh-oh.
Yes. He says I should have a book signing below the flag.
we're not going to
Like,
apologize
so I-
for that, are we?
What?
You know what?
Donald Trump loving America.
The
Oh,
other
God.
nice thing, on those 18 acres,
I'm sorry.
18 acres at the White House, there's still a lot of space where you could put condos,
Yes!
fitness clubs.
No, seriously,
Yes.
a condo with a view of the Jefferson Memorial overlooking
Tower.
the Potomac.
Right?
I'd buy one.
I'd move right in.
I would buy one. We could bring down the national debt. He doesn't like the Chinese. He'd go after the
No, he
Chinese.
doesn't.
Good at firing
Doesn't like the Chinese at all.
Actually,
He
he has
calls
some
them
very
bad
interesting
names.
Yeah.
and
He'd start a trade
introspective
war.
comments on China. We'll have to have him back on because you are all being ridiculous.
No.
Here's Katrina Vanden
It's getting before
Heuvel.
he's president of the United States.
The Washington Post. Americans aren't buying the GOP agenda. It's hard to imagine.
They're not?
This is what
I'm sorry,
Katrina says. These are Katrina's words.
Yeah, and the Nile's not a river.
Here we go. It's hard to imagine a greater conservative nightmare.
Oh.
An industrial strategy with 5-year plans, buy American, spending, trade wars. Yet 80% of conservative voters yearning for the creativity of the market society's spontaneous order approved of the plan. So suffered George Will, his Adam Smith tie pin. But ignore his advice. Let Boehner maintain his perpetual tan. If Democrats want to listen to voters, they'd be well advised to push hard on a bolder program to rebuild America and put people back to work.
I'm just a bit confused.
I just want some specifics.
No, here's the thing. Here's the
time
thing.
Seriously,
the time is just so over, it seems to me, for this kind of a manifesto, I have to say. I mean, I really do feel now everybody's just yearning for specifics. I actually just do hope we keep on pushing Republicans to come up. Item by
well,
item,
isn't
they're
that what
gonna
she?
come.
I mean, there's
But
different ways of
she's
saying
talking
it.
about 5-year plans.
Okay.
I mean, come on, somebody else tried that. It didn't work too well. There are about 30 million Russians. But I mean, again, it's like Nancy Pelosi.
That's exactly right.
Nancy Pelosi's writing an op-ed saying that Americans, they love what we did, and Katrina's saying we got to go left. On a serious note, Mike Barnacle, the reason why Scott Brown won in Massachusetts is because people believe that Democrats lost touch with the center. They went too far left. And so they selected Scott Brown. This is the recipe for Republicans winning. The Democratic Party with a 20%, with 20% of America being liberal, goes too far left, and Republicans clean up.
Well, people also believe, rightly so, that nothing ever gets done in Washington because people are busy writing op-eds with 5-year plans and we need jobs for the American people. No kidding, we need jobs for the American people. How are you going to do it? Let's take the mortgage mess. We got a president of the United States, he's been president now for 2 years. How about calling in, 5 or 6 of the big banks, sitting them down in a room and saying, okay, let's solve this thing. Let's get this done.
Right.
You guys got 2 days or else we're going to whack you.
Can't do that.
I think what was concerning.
You can't do that because Barack Obama does not
Obama's-
trust or understand people that work in the private sector.
But I felt there was something kind of almost tragic about that press conference that he gave last week, because he just felt like a president who really had been sort of poleaxed by this utter onslaught of this intractable process that he hadn't figured out and knew he hadn't figured out just how to get his hands around that. And actually, I think that this trip he's taken is very important for him psychologically, because I think just when you go abroad and you experience yourself as somebody else, people have criticized this timing of him going, but I think it's been important for him psychologically, because I felt that on that press conference, I felt that he was absolutely blitzed out and that he really was showing his exhaustion, and he was showing his the fact that he's
sorry for me appearance.
I don't think it was feel sorry for me. I think it was just frustration. Frustration at the fact that he's tried to do things but hasn't figured out a way to wrestle with this process.
Tina,
he was inexperienced.
I agree with you that I think this trip has been very good for him. I think he made a bad mistake talking about Israel the way he did yesterday, but I think it's been a great trip for him. And I agree with you. I think he's finally figured out 2 years into his presidency what a lot of people in Washington, including the most powerful Democratic senators, have known for a year and a half, that in terms of dealing with Washington, he's in way over his head.
Way over his head. That's what it came
and he's finally figured that out. He needs a Colin Powell or somebody that knows how to work the city. Like Colin Powell, that guy will kill you with bureaucratically without you even knowing.
See the bird?
Hey, look at the bird. Where? Bureaucratically, Colin Powell, a guy like that, knows how to get it done. Barack Obama still doesn't have a clue on how to win in Washington.
But in that sense, Hillary Clinton was right. I mean, you could argue that her 3 a.m. ad was right.
Well,
or are you talking about a team? We'll talk more about this. Willie, though.
Bird.
Mika,
I don't see a bird.
You're going to love this story. Sarah Palin shows up at a Pennsylvania school where they're considering banning sweets with a giant tray of cookies.
Oh.
I'll show you when we come back.
Right.
I love that.